Hello, whoever is watching this. This is my screencast for education class. Screencast about yours truly. So a little bit about me. Fun facts. I lived in 6 different towns and cities, 3 states, and attended 3 different schools. I lived in Massachusetts and Florida, and now Wisconsin. Um, a lot of it is because, well, all of it, I should say, is because of my dad's job, is why we moved. Um, my dad was in the advertisement business for a while. He used to own his own machine shop, and then when that shut down, we moved to Florida. He got a job in Florida, and then when that didn't work out, we moved back to Massachusetts. And when that didn't work out, we moved to Wisconsin because he knew somebody from a conference in the advertising business. So then we ended up in a little town called Algoma, Wisconsin. That's right along the lake over near Green Bay area or Door County, if anybody knows where that is. It's right along the lake. It's really nice. And then the next slide is a few of those pictures. So this is where I was born, North Adams. After that, we moved to Temple Terrace, Florida for my dad's new job. Lived there until I was 7, and then we moved to Brandon, which we lived there until I was about 10 years old, and then my dad lost his job, and that was right in the middle of the recession. I don't know if anybody had any experience, first-hand experience with that, but he lost his job, and we kind of lost everything, so we had to move back to North Adams, right about here. And then, well, originally we moved to Adams, Massachusetts, but then moved to North Adams, which is only like 20 minutes up the road because it was a better area, and that's why we did that. And then after my dad got his job with Jag Outdoor, I don't know if anybody would know that, but they put up billboards and stuff like that and own a bunch of billboards throughout northeast Wisconsin and a little bit into central Wisconsin. So then we moved to Algoma, and then now I reside in La Crosse at UWL. So then I just added a few pictures at this top right-hand corner, if I can move this little guy over here. But the top right-hand corner, that's my town that I live in right now, and that's the lighthouse. It's a little bit prettier than it actually is. Usually it's kind of green, but that's beside the point. This is overlooking where I lived in Massachusetts. This little L field right here is actually my grandparents' or my great uncle's field, where he plowed corn and stuff like that, and he had cows. This is so strange that I found this picture, but all these little pictures up here are my first communion pictures and the first communion pictures of my sisters. Found it on Google, I don't know how, but that was our house in Florida. I put Busch Gardens in here because that's the closest thing to Temple Terrace that anybody will have any understanding of, and then this is La Crosse. So there's that. Meet the fam. So Susan and Eric are my parents. They're there and there. Chelsea is my oldest sister. Michaela is the second oldest. I am right there in case you didn't know who I was. And then Jacqueline is my little sister. She's 2 years younger than me. Chelsea graduated college in 2015. Michaela graduated in 2016. And then there's Coda, my puppy, and then Fern. Fern's my little baby kitty. And then Willow, I kind of find a picture of her because she's a little hoe sometimes. And then this is Matthew, my sister's husband. He's kind of like a brother to me, so decided I should probably put him in here too. My inspirations, my grandparents, or my grandfather Watson in particular. He taught me how to drive, and he taught me how to nail stuff and do carpentry and things like that. And then here is my dad. My dad is one of my biggest inspirations. He was able to do all the things that he did with not a lot of money and 4 kids, and he did it pretty effortlessly. That I didn't really understand when I was little, but now I really do understand a lot, and really take that into consideration when I go out and do things. And then my mom, obviously my mom's so strong because she kept my dad on the right track, I guess you could say. Mr. Rankin, he's like 6'7", doesn't play any sports. He was my history teacher in middle school, and pretty much the one of the main reasons that I want to become a history teacher. And then Mr. Cruz was my freshman basketball coach and my history teacher throughout high school, and he was a big factor in that also. My teacher's aide. So when the question was asked about my professional experience with teaching, this was about the closest I got. So I got the chance to be a teacher aide for Mr. Rankin, who you just met on the previous slide. And I would just do some book work for him, grade some quizzes and stuff like that, and help him out whenever he needed, or when he didn't need, then I just did my homework in his class or help the kids or whatever you say. I was able to give a few presentations, but getting the kids to interact was pretty hard. Maybe I just wasn't doing it in the right way, but they were pretty silent all the time. So there's that. So my multicultural experience, I have been to 90% of my schools have been almost all white, except for when I lived in Florida, I should say. And when I lived in Florida, my class looked a little bit like this. So as you can see, I am one of maybe 3 Caucasian people in this entire picture, which is a lot different than most people could say for their schooling here in Wisconsin, depending on where you're from or where you went to school. But yeah, so there's a lot of cultures and stuff like that. Florida's a really great place because there's a lot of different people that you get to meet that aren't like you, and that really helps with your mindset as far as going through life. What makes me laugh? So the dumbest stuff. I laugh at almost everything, and sometimes I kind of sound like an idiot because I'll be laughing at like random ways people like do their hands. That was one of my favorite memes for the longest time. And then I just found a few other memes. So you're a Blizzard, Harry. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, so these are just a few things that I found funny that were on the internet. So there's that. So what to do to make me feel welcome? I mean, I couldn't really think of too many things, but like, I guess I think that I'm funny sometimes. So if you don't laugh, that'll make me feel bad. But if you do laugh, then that'll make me feel good. And that's about all I can say. And I guess all I can ask for is just listen to my opinion, and I'll listen to yours, I guess. That's the only thing I can really say about that. And then for the last thing, I wrote a poem, or a haiku, I should say, and it's called Endless Beginnings. So, endless beginnings, everything is temporary, family is my home. So, moving around a lot, I had to meet a lot of new people, I had to do a lot of new things, and come to realize that, not everybody in your life is going to be there your whole entire life. There will be some people that will be, but others that won't be. And the only constant that I've really had throughout my 18-year experience here on Earth is that my family has always been there for me. We have always been a really close family, sometimes a little bit too close for my liking, but that's just kind of how it goes. You want your family there when you want them, and when you don't want them, they're still there. And that's kind of been my experience throughout life, and I guess that's it. So yeah, that's me.